Known as Connecticut's beer, Thomas Hooker Brewing Company sources its name from Hartford, Connecticut's founding father. They're a staple for Connecticut, but they've also received national award-winning praise. They're also known for their charitable missions and their great works in the local community. Let's go inside and see what they're brewing up today.
The Brewery Show is brought to you by Hoptopia. Colorful craft beer, cider, and mead reviews at your fingertips. Available online or through the App Store and Android Marketplace. Visit Hoptopia.com today and follow on Twitter at Hoptopia.
Curt Cameron, Emperor of the Thomas Hooker Brewing Company. It's been through several iterations over its life cycle. It was started in about '96 by Jack Strike and Bill McCarthy as a brew pub. Another group of investors came in, took it over, I think expanded it to 3 restaurants, then unexpanded it to 0 restaurants, but during that time got into distribution of beer. We took it over in March of '06, and it was just kind of hobbling along out of the back of one of the restaurants that had since closed. Been on a nice kind of steady growth path since '06.
My name is Mike Yates, and I'm the head brewer here at Hooker Brewing. I started brewing, unlike a lot of guys that homebrewed, went to a little brew pub looking for a job bartending, and they said somebody has to die here for you to get a job. But they offered me a job cleaning the bar 2 days a week and helping out in the bottling room. And I said, I'll take it. Where'd I go from there? A couple months later, one of the brewers quit, and I got introduced to the brewing aspect of beer. Now, 12 years later, 5th location later, I'm the head brewer here at Hooker.
People who don't know who Thomas Hooker was and don't know that he was a Puritan minister and that Hartford was actually founded by Thomas Hooker, they think that maybe it's some kind of a prostitution reference. Nothing could be further from the truth. I mean, we do have a little bit of fun with the name on t-shirts and stuff like that, but any of our mainstream marketing is totally above board, and the name is completely out of respect.
We actually adopted it from Troutbrook Brewing Company, who we actually took over back in 2003. That was one of their top-selling beers, Thomas Hooker Ale, so we just kind of wanted to adapt that as our own name.
We're probably about doubling the size of production. We're bringing in 8 more tanks.
We try to brew we're brewing 2 or 3 days a week right now, and that should be ramping up this winter with our expansion.
What we're doing with the front 4,000 square feet of this building is turning into really more of a visitor center. I mean, one of the things that we do here is a lot of events. Both nonprofits and organizations can come rent out the brewery. We'd like to also offer some homebrew classes. We think it would be a neat opportunity for people really into homebrewing to come in, homebrew in an actual production brewery, and we think it's important to allow the public to come in and really experience the brand. And I think that's one of the things that I can attribute to some of the rapid growth of the product.
I just started volunteering on the bottling line, graduated from UConn the following May, and at that point I just kind of like, can I have a job? So I knew I kind of wanted to get into the beer industry with the idea of becoming a brewer at some point.
I could say I never homebrewed, but during my hiatus from brewing, I found myself without beer, and so a neighbor and I started brewing 10-gallon batches, and we made some pretty good homebrews.
I think we make 11 different beers in total, ranging from our lighter style blonde ale. We make a Munich lager, which is a Helles or a light style German lager, right up to our Doppelbock and our Imperial porters. We also make some kind of fun beers. We make a watermelon ale, which is our summer seasonal that, I took a little bit of grief from some of the hardcore beer geeks about making a watermelon beer, but the other 99.9% of people have fun with that beer. It's kind of like a Jolly Rancher on the nose, and but it tastes like a beer. There's not a lot of residual sweetness, so we have fun with that. We have a Nor'easter lager, which is our winter seasonal. Everybody always asks what we put in it, and our typical question is, what do you get out of it? And we get coriander, cinnamon, apple spice, and the flavor that we tell people is in it is apple pie spice, and that seems to satisfy people's need to know.
It's a little harder to clean the tanks. In a brew pub, you can just climb in there and reach all the corners, and when I try to climb in one of these, it's a little hectic. There were some nooks and crannies. I was trying to clean them up when I got here, and it's not as easy as it looks, but it's basically the same. It's just a bigger version of a smaller tank.
The machinery is definitely a challenge. Anytime you turn your back, it's doing everything it can to stop putting beer in bottles or throw labels or, give us a problem. So we have to kind of be on our feet and make sure everything works.
My first day here was a bottling run, actually. So it was very interesting. Very, very interesting.
Glass bottle might get caught in the machinery, but all in all, it runs pretty smooth at the end of the day.
Trying to get the company to double production so we can get up in the big leagues.
We have a couple of kind of key charities or groups that we work with. Number one is the Village for Children. The Village is a 200-year-old private nonprofit that really helps children and families in the greater Hartford area. That one's particularly special to me because I was adopted from the Village, and when we were looking around for a charity to really benefit, that one seemed like the logical choice. One of the other groups that we work with, which is dear to my heart, is the Oak Hill Group. The Oak Hill is group homes of mentally challenged citizens in the area.
It makes me so happy to see them because they're happy to be here, and they provide a service for us that's really something we don't have to do, and it's a win-win situation.
It's good for them and good for us, so I'm definitely with the charity thing.
Good, have a good time.
First and third Fridays of each month, we host the Hooker Open House. And what happens is from 5 to 8 o'clock, for a $10 donation, you get to come in, taste beers for 3 hours, and really just enjoy the company of other beer enthusiasts. We usually get between 150 and 200, sometimes even 300 people into the facility. And it's just a nice group of people. Everybody has a great time.
That is a mill, those are tanks, and that is your tour.
And when they leave, they get a souvenir pint glass to take with them. And so, you know, they're happy, feel like they got a good bargain, and it helps our charity. I think we've raised over $30,000 now for our charity, which is, again, the Village for Children.
I'm just trying to make the beers here at Hooker as best as they can be. I'm an IPA fan, so I've been tweaking the IPA recipe a little bit, just adding a little bit of hops, subtracting a little bit of, you know, again, I like to keep things simple. I drink it by the gallon, so it's got to be good. And even a higher authority, my wife, she's got a master taste, and so I'm trying to bring it to her specifications. So that's my most important critic right there. A few more months, we'll have a fantastic IPA here. It's already fantastic, but it's getting better every day.
It's a lot of work, so don't think you're just gonna jump into it and be drinking beer all the time, because it's not gonna work like that. You're definitely gonna run into problems. Just work with it and stick with it, and you'll be successful.
I think that any brewery that's been successful has two components. You know, number one, you have to have good product. If you don't have good product, you know, it really doesn't matter from a marketing perspective. I looked at Magic Hat, I looked at Long Trail, and both of those guys certainly make great product, but you look at Magic Hat. They've got that whole hippie shtick going on, which people gravitate towards. It's a great kind of marketing angle. The guys over at Long Trail have that whole crunchy granola, go take a hike thing. I think that's what makes it kind of a stickiness to the brand. I'm not sure that we've completely kind of solidified what our feel is at this point, but you know, people seem to be gravitating toward the brand, so we'll figure it out. Just enjoy good beer, and thank you for helping to create this movement of gravitating towards local and fresh local products.
From their roots as a small brewery known as Trout Brook, Thomas Hooker utilized their potential and grew into the brewery they are today. Not only are they known for their great award-winning beer, they also give back to the community through their charitable works. Thanks for watching The Brewery Show. Until next time.
Try a Hooker beer. Any flavor, I like them all.
I've already got my 3-year-old trained on opening me a bottle of beer, so when I get home, he's standing there ready to crack me a beer.